ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the world of VGamingJunkie news. No draws here, nothing but pure gaming-related meatiness. It's all about the electronic good stuff as we dive deep in all that's new in the various interactive virtual worlds. We're starting off this news story with the size and stature of Microsoft's upcoming Xbox Series X. Specifically that it's a brick house. Seriously, this thing is gonna be freaking meaty. I hope you've got plenty of space if you want this behemoth, because it's starting to resemble a gaming PC more than a console. Given Microsoft has been sharing its first parties and overall features with the PC these days, perhaps that was a deliberate choice. Either way, the Series S is the exact opposite, surprisingly small. I guess your wallet and storage space are in agreement on this one, S for small and X for extra large. Moving away from the latest and onto something a bit more retro, an indie roguelike game called Demons Ate My Neighbors has popped up on Kickstarter. If the name sounds a little familiar, that's no coincidence. In many ways, the game is deliberately invoking memories of the old Super Nintendo/Genesis classic known as Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Seeing as how hell is associated with fire, perhaps Mr. Pool Guy from the classic will make his appearance with his foolproof plan of just lounging in his pool. Don't knock it, it's actually a pretty effective strategy since the zombies apparently couldn't swim. And speaking of retro, Prince of Persia: The Sands of Times is getting a remake coming up soon. The remake's graphics have actually come under fire, with some not a fan of the look they're going for. However, developers have disputed the rumors that they're being pressured by lack of time or money to use this kind of style. They flat out said that it was their choice and this was to fit the fantastic style they're going for. Personally, I don't think they'll look too bad, although it could use a bit more boosting if they plan to put it on modern systems. After all, Destroy All Humans' remake is also meant to look more stylistic, and it looks pretty damn fantastic in my opinion. I'm sure they'll iron it out within the sands of time, though. It would seem Battlefield's Twitter came back online and they're starting to tease the upcoming Battlefield 6. I tried some of Battlefield 5 when it was temporarily free, and while I didn't agree with some of their creative decisions to rewrite history, it was decently fun to play through. Here's hoping the team can leave nasty little things like ideology and politics aside to give the people what they really want: good gameplay and writing above all else. And a little tip, maybe you shouldn't make something based on real-world events if you're going to completely change what happened. Well, unless you're going the Wolfenstein route and being deliberately an alternate form of history, then that's just fun. Speaking of teasers, a trailer released for the upcoming Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity. I haven't actually played Hyrule Warriors, I should probably get on that one of these days, but it looks pretty interesting. It seems to be based wholly around Breath of the Wild rather than a mesh of the franchise as a whole this time around. While that's a shame that we probably won't be getting as much versatility as the first one was showing off, it's still pretty cool to see what's essentially the initial Calamity event that kicked things off. Of course, much like Star Wars Rogue One, it's a bit doomed since we already know that it's going to backfire horribly. Still, it has some potential, and I like that you can play as the other champions in addition to the princess herself. If you've ever heard of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, you may be pleased to know that it's finally getting a re-release. It'll be releasing on all major platforms, including Google Stadia in holiday 2020. However, though I've heard about it, I never got around to actually playing it. There seems to be a running theme here. I really need to start getting on the whole dimension full of games I've never played yet thing. Either way, it's good to see it coming back since it apparently hadn't been available for purchase in many years, so fans of it will certainly find that something to be excited for. Speaking of upcoming games, it's time once again to round things out with some release dates from Games Radar for the upcoming week. The 15th sees a number of releases, starting with Bullets Per Minute and Vaporum Lockdown for the PC. Spelunky 2 also releases on PS4, and eFootball PES 2021 gets a season update. On the 17th is Medieval Dynasty on PC, Mini Motor Racing X on Switch, and Pacer for PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. The 18th sees a couple of high-profile releases in the form of Crysis Remastered for PC, Xbox, and PlayStation, and Super Mario 3D All-Stars for the Switch. Earth Defense Force 5 also releases on PS4, and finally WWE 2K Battlegrounds for the major platforms including Stadia. This week's freebies are Railway Empire and Where the Water Tastes Like Wine, free on the Epic Store up through the 17th. And that is it for this week's gaming news. I really hope you enjoyed it. I'm always striving to improve the quality of these videos, even if it's something small like changing the glass shader and giving my robotic avatar some basic lip syncing. If you enjoyed the video, subscribing and uppercutting that bell icon allows you to keep notified, and liking the video always helps in the YouTube algorithms. If you're into gaming, this coming up Monday brings something very special. 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on that day will be my finale livestream of Zelda Breath of the Wild, at least for now, as I finally storm the castle and take on Calamity Ganon himself. Above all else, I just hope you enjoyed the video and were well enough informed. If you have news stories for me, let me know. I have a Discord, so check that out, and that is it for now. Thank you so much for tuning in with me. Now go out there and capitalize on life. Peace out, have a good one, and I'll see you next Saturday.